I reported extensively last week on how Katie Couric's gun documentary engaged in deceptive editing, a story that generated no segments, by the way, on CNN, MSNBC, NBC, CBS, or ABC. Couric had said she was proud of the film, but this week she addressed the cinematic trickery in which members of the Virginia Citizens Defense League were made to look dumbfounded for 8 long seconds, even though its president, Philip Van Cleve, told me that's not what happened and produced the audio tape showing they actually had answered the former anchor's questions about background checks.
If there are no background checks for gun purchasers, how do you prevent felons or terrorists from purchasing a gun?
I think because of how the light that it casts on our members and our organization and gun owners in general, that Katie Couric does indeed owe us an apology for what she did. It's the least she could do.
Couric now says that as executive producer of Under the Gun, I take responsibility for a decision that misrepresented an exchange I had with members of the Virginia Citizens Defense League. I questioned her, the director, and the editor about the pause and was told that a beat was added for, as she described it, dramatic effect. I regret that those 8 seconds were misleading and that I did not raise my initial concerns more vigorously. Joining us now from New York is Concha, television columnist for Mediaite. So, what lesson can be gleaned from the way that this gun rights group fought back against this film?
Very easy lesson here, Howie, that if you're a politician, if you're an average Joe, pun intended, you're an activist group like the BCDL, and you're being taped in a documentary kind of format or a pre-tape for an interview that's going to air later, and you know there's editing that's going to happen afterwards, very simple. You have a phone. The phone has a free recording app on it. No one suspects you when you walk into a room with a phone or it's in your pocket. Record that interview, get the raw audio, so this way it doesn't become a he said, she said situation, and you could actually have proof to show that you're being misrepresented in a post-edit, as was the case here with the Couric documentary.
Right. I'm glad that Katie Couric eventually took responsibility for this editing that really can't be defended. The fact that she took several days to do so, does that damage her credibility?
I think it did, Howie, and I disagree with you in that her apology did not go far enough. She should have asked the director to take that scene out, if she could. It's all digital now. It's not too hard to do. Or at least say, this is not how this went down, and I don't stand behind this film anymore. To apologize 5 days after the fact because you were caught red-handed, and she wouldn't have if this recording didn't happen, that's where I say maybe she didn't go far enough. And look, I don't want to turn this into a Katie Couric bashing session. In my column, I said she was one of my top 4 crushes growing up outside of Ali Sheedy and Elizabeth Shue and Meg Ryan. You know, she was an icon. Co-hosted the Today Show all those years in the 90s, won a Murrow Award in 2008, 2009. This is a very high-ranking person who's had little controversy in her career, and for CNN and ABC and CBS and NBC not to cover this is, quite frankly, a complete mystery, because this was a big story, it had tangible proof, and they missed it badly.
Well, is liberal bias a factor here? I mean, Katie Couric's popular, and I agree with you that scene should have been deleted, but they didn't touch it, and it was gun rights activists that were made to look bad in this deceptive editing.
Let's put it this way. If gun rights activists weren't involved here, I'm betting that this probably would have got some coverage. And if Katie Couric weren't involved here, it probably would have as well. Remember, she worked at all those networks, NBC, CBS, ABC. So she's kind of journalism royalty in that she's almost a celebrity. And for them to just omit it, again, it's a complete mystery to me, Howie.
All right, well, let me jump in our final seconds. I want to talk later about the death of Muhammad Ali. Let me read you something he said before one of his big fights. Sonny Liston is nothing. The man can't talk. The man can't fight. The man needs talking lessons. The man needs boxing lessons. Anyone that reminds you of?
Yeah, a little bit of Donald Trump in that, and I want to make this very clear in terms of the comparison. Both knew how to dominate media coverage through bombast. The press loves that. Both were polarizing figures. Remember, after Ali retired, he became sympathetic, but at the time, he was very polarizing. And again, he was very personal, Ali, just like Trump, in attacking his opponents. You could have asked Joe Frazier when he was alive, calling him an Uncle Tom and a gorilla. I mean, I'm telling you, Ali knew how to get the press's attention. And in the 20th century, your top 5 speakers of all time, Churchill, Reagan, Martin Luther King, and Muhammad Ali.
We'll pick that up later. Concha, thanks.